Are your ulcerative colitis symptoms proving difficult to manage? Tremfya guselkumab can help you manage the cycle of UC symptoms. At 1 year, many patients taking Tremfya achieved clinical remission, and some patients also achieved endoscopic remission. Individual results may vary. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and TB. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Ask your doctor if Tremfya can help you manage the cycle of UC symptoms. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
When too much work bogs you down, Asana helps you handle it. AI makes it easy to hand off routine tasks and stay focused on important work. That's how work gets handled. Visit us at asana.com.
Hey there, listeners. Welcome to Shit That Goes On to Our Heads, the podcast where we normalize conversations around mental health.
That's right. I'm Dirty Skittles, and alongside my amazing co-host, Rex, we are here to share stories and tips from our incredible guests.
Each episode, we deep dive into struggles and triumphs of mental health, offering practical advice and heartfelt support.
Because no one should feel alone in their journey. Join us as we break the stigma and build a community of understanding and compassion.
Tune in and let's start talking about the shit that goes on in our heads. This is part 3 of a 3-part episode.
But I left that meeting feeling like I had my boundaries. I said what I needed to say. I was empathetic to her feelings. I did not make this about me. And I felt good about the conversation. I didn't hear anything from her for 2 weeks. And I finally had a conversation with my brother, and I said, I'm just curious. Did Mom finish my book? And he goes, oh, yeah, I was going to tell you about that. And I said, okay. And he said, yeah, she called me one day. And she said, I need you to go with me to the lawyers. And I was like, what? And she said, yeah, I'm taking your sister out of the will. And I was like, there's my answer. You know, I remember the question I had asked before the book came out, was this going to destroy what was left? Or was this going to open a conversation? And she chose to end it.
I'm really sorry that happened.
It's all right. You know, there's some times where, and it took me a while to get to this place, but in this healing too, you realize what you're worth. And you realize and can recognize what is toxic and what is not, and what you deserve. And what I deserve as a child is respect, is love, unconditionally, with no judgment, right? It's what I give my kids. And I expect that as well. If she had opened a conversation with me, I'd have been totally open to it. But because her answer was that I attacked her by telling her story about her drinking and her coping mechanism, that I was attacking her. And I wasn't. Anyone who reads my book has never said to me, oh my God, your mom's a monster. No one. Because that's not how I portray her, right? I have no judgment about people that utilize drugs, alcohol, whatever, for a coping mechanism, because that's their coping mechanism, right? And that's their journey, and they have to figure it out for themselves.
Amen.
So it's, you know, I don't blame her for picking up the bottle. I don't blame her for that. But there are consequences to the choices and the behavior that affected me as her child. that affected my brother as her child. And because she takes no responsibility and just looks at it as a victim, and that I'm punishing her, I'm making her look bad, I'm taking the facade of her being the supporting, loving mom that she portrayed to everyone, and now people know the truth.
I think in some
She didn't
cases,
like it.
like I think in some cases that when that happens is like they need to look inward and take care of their own mental health before they start, you know, giving us crap about our own mental health, right? Like we all deal with it differently, right? And like it's our story. It's not their story.
Exactly.
It is
exactly
our insight to what happened to us.
Right.
And what we did to make it better, right? Because we could both still be wallowing in like self-pity and still be going through PTSD and still like denying all the shit that went on.
Yeah.
But until you look inward, it's about you. It's not about anybody else, right? It's about what you experienced and what you want to put out into the world. And for those of us that don't see that or don't understand it, I don't know, maybe they need to go to their own therapist.
Well, the thing of it is that with my mother, like people always ask me this question. Have you ever encouraged your mom to get therapy? Have you ever had that opportunity to have that conversation with her in your adult world? And the answer is many times. And the answer was always the same. Therapy is for your brother and you. I don't need it. I'm fine. And, so she chooses not to. And she's up there in age now. It's not going to change. Right. And so when this split happened in our relationship, I had a conversation with my brother about it because I said, I want you to understand, first of all, her doing that to me was a trigger for him because his whole life, he felt like all of the focus has always been around him. She is always I used to call him the star child, even though he was making very bad choices in his life and got into some trouble and addiction and all of that. She enabled that behavior. And I had to step away from that several times just to protect my own mental health. But I told him, he got angry because he just I don't understand why we just can't be a family. And I had to finally explain to him that I'm in a place in my life right now where I don't want toxic relationships around me. I need to protect my peace, hold my light. And anytime my husband was around her and we were together and we were around her, we stepped on eggshells. We never knew what it was going to be like. There was always judgment somewhere, and she chooses to be that way, right? It's just how she's wired. I'm not wired that way. And so I need to protect myself, protect my peace for not just myself, but my family as well. And I still feel love for my mom. I still send her love. I know that on this earth, she's not going to change. Her mindset isn't going to change. She's not going to have this big epiphany one day and wake up and all of a sudden be a Hallmark holiday mom. It's not going to happen, right? And so when I did walk away from the relationship, there were people that were like, oh, you got to fight harder. Why do I have to fight harder? I have been like this my entire life. I always said to myself, if I do this, she will love me more. If I get this award, if I do well in real estate, if I, blah, 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 I will get more love from her. I will be equal to my brother. right? We would have a close relationship. I told myself that for years and years and years. And I'm at a point right now where when people say to me, you should have fought harder, or she's older now, and, don't you want to have a relationship with her because she's elderly and she needs, people and blah, blah, blah. My answer to them is this: she has chosen this walk. She has chosen this journey, and she has chosen to sever our relationship. She gave me that answer. When people show you who they are, believe them. It is 100% true. She has shown me who she is innately my entire life. And I finally recognize it as an adult woman. And there's nothing wrong with it. Just because they gave birth to you doesn't an obligation for you to remain in a relationship if that relationship is toxic. You've got to do what you've got to do for your own mental health. And if that's to walk away and go no contact, then so be it.
Right.
So.
Wow. What a powerful story. Like, thank you so much for being so open.
No problem. I'm an open book. I always tell people, like, when I wrote my book, when I pushed that button, people ask me, what did it feel like? I said, it felt like being on the side of a highway during rush hour, buck naked. Everybody sees you for who you are.
Scary.
All of it, good, bad, or indifferent, right? And it is terrifying and freeing at the same time.
Yeah.
And I'm really grateful. I'm very grateful for this journey. And I say this: my purpose came from my dad's death, and my dad's purpose came from my dad's death. And some people hear that and go, "Ee, how can you say that?" I am not saying that I'm not saying that it's no big deal that happened or whatever, right? It's just saying that we're all given things, some horrific things in life, and there's always a lesson in it if you look for it. And so there were so many lessons in this tragedy that occurred that made me who I am today. And in that, I wouldn't take that back, because I'm finally the person, I'm learning to be the person that I've always wanted to be.
Yeah.
And now my purpose is to help others to be the people they've always wanted to be, and not allow what happened to them or the person that hurt them to continue that pattern, to continue to have a hold over them.
I have a question, because I've been wondering it since you said it. When we first started recording, you had said you are a cop's daughter. Mm-hmm. And later on in your story, you said, I am my father's daughter. Mm-hmm. And I want to know, what does that mean for you? Like, when you say that, what does it mean?
I feel like I'm continuing his legacy. My dad was always, like I said, he was the type of person that gave you a safe space. He was very present. He made you feel like you were the most important person in the room, whether you worked with him, whether he trained you, whether he was your dad, whether you were married to him. He was the same person with everyone. Authentic, and that's what I strive to be like. So I feel like I'm carrying on that legacy by doing what I'm doing and speaking how I'm speaking and my message that I'm putting out, because I feel like he's got a part of it. And he knew, or he knows, that this was my purpose, is taking this tragedy and these lessons that I've learned through it and through the journey of healing to help others, because he lived his life in service of others. And I am living a life of service to others. So when I say I'm my father's daughter, that's what I mean. Not to mention, I feel like I also grew up with a man who accepted everyone, no matter who you were. And he just saw everybody as human beings. And that is too who I am. So I feel like I carry that on, and I've tried to teach my kids, which my kids are, I know everybody says this, but they are incredible human beings who do have those same thought processes and same values in life, where they accept everyone and love everyone and will fight for everyone. So
it's because you're a good mom. Like, you learned your lesson. We all learn from our past trauma of like that better version of ourselves.
mm-hmm.
And, I'm proud of you for like digging deep and, helping to heal yourself, because the world needs you, right? You're a bright light. The world needs more people like you and I, and even, like Dirty Skittles. We all need each other, whether you're writing a book about your life or just out there making the world a better place, especially for those of us that, have mental problems. PTSD sucks.
It does.
And it's not just like past childhood trauma. It could be any kind of trauma.
Yeah.
Like in my case, it was an acquisition of a company. When it happened again, I had some serious PTSD because of it. And like, it's shit that sits with you. And you know what? There's no weakness in asking for help. Absolutely none. And there's no shame. I don't care if you're a man. I don't care if you're a woman. I don't care if you're a teenager, you're a child. There is absolutely zero weakness in asking for help. Well, and if you
look at it this way, I look at it this way as well. So I talk about forgiveness, for instance, because there's so much thoughts around forgiveness. And I tell people this: forgiveness is it's not forgiving the actual act or the actual person, right? What you're doing is you're taking your power back from that person, from that thing that hurt you. And you're saying, you can no longer hurt me anymore. I am going to heal from this and leave you in the dust, right? So that, I look at that as your journey of healing as well. You are saying to yourself, I am taking my power back from this person or this thing or this trauma that has held over me, that has kept me from the life I want, the relationships I want. And I'm no longer going to let that happen. And so I'm going to make this choice to get help. And it isn't weakness, it's power. You are taking your power, because everybody is powerful, guys. Like, we all have it within ourselves. You just got to find it. And when you do, and you make that choice and you find your person, sky's the limit.
Yeah. I'm so thankful I have my person. My wife is amazing. And, and I get to do this with Dirty Skittles. I have these two amazing, beautiful people in my life. And my wife gets to hear all the things like in my day-to-day life. And so does Dirty Skittles. I still call her every single morning before work, and we still laugh just the way we did like 2 years ago. And she was part of my healing.
Yeah.
And, laughter is okay. There's certain things we shouldn't laugh at, but we do anyway. So,
I think healing is not linear, period. Right? And even grief, when I talk about grief, you can have joy and sadness coexist. It's not disrespectful to the person you're grieving if you find joy in something. And same with healing. Like, I feel like I've met people that are like, I'm healing, but I have to sit in it. Like I'm healing, but I have to sit in my sadness. I need to sit in my depression. I need to sit in this until it's almost like until the next step, the next session, the next whatever, right? And guess what? You can be healing and have depression, but you can also have a joyous day. It's okay. And because, like I said, it's not linear. It's not one size fits all. People deal with things differently.
Complex human beings.
Yeah. I mean, this is why when I meet people, I don't say, I understand how you feel. Whether it's someone who has lost somebody and they're grieving, or if they have gone through a trauma or whatever, because I didn't experience that experience. I didn't have the same relationship with that person. So I can't say that. I can't say I understand how you feel because I didn't have the same experience. I'm not having the same feelings about things. I'm not. But what I can say is this is what I've been through, and this is how I dealt with it. And because you can physically see the progression of the healing, that people can say, oh my gosh, all right, because I can see you doing it, I feel like I might be able to do it, right? So even when I'm out speaking in person, if I can, I don't care if I'm speaking in front of 100 people, 1,000 people, 10,000 people, which is a goal. If I can get to one person and that's listening to me, that's seeing me speak, if I can get to one person that says, I'm ready to start my journey, I'm ready to start healing, I've done my job. That's what I'm on this earth for. So
I love that. I love what you're doing. I love how you're inspirational,
Thank you. Never saw that coming. It is weird. It's very weird because, like, in doing what I do now and in having conversations, I'll give you an example. So my oldest had a bunch of people over last night from the LGBTQ community. And our house has always been a safe haven for kids since our kids were little, right? The joke is that we collect children, not in the weird way. But kids that maybe their home lives are not fantastic and they just need a little bit extra support, right? So it's always been a safe house, like a safe haven, a place where they can come and no judgment. We try to show unconditional love. And even though my kids are adults and I will not discuss their ages because it makes me feel old and we're not going to go there. There was a man here last night, a young man, and he was asking me what I do. And I told him. And then I told him my story. And in that moment, he felt that he could be vulnerable and tell me what he was currently dealing with. And as I was listening to him, I felt his vulnerability, and I felt him like the universe was like, yep, I put you two together for a reason, right? Because I was able to give him or guide him or coach him with some advice that he's heard from other people. But because I've walked the walk that I've walked, for some reason, he listened to me and said, you're right, I've got to do this. And I was talking to him about journaling. And he said, I used to do it, but I'm not really consistent with it, and blah, blah, blah. And I said, why? Why is it that you're not consistent? Where's your fear? And he said, well, I just never know what to say. And that's a normal thing, right? So I said, okay, you can take this as it is. But what if you were to journal gratitude every day? What if you were to wake up in the morning and think of 3 things that you're grateful for every single day and write them down and write them why you're grateful for those things? So when the world feels like it's on fire around you and you're feeling overwhelmed, that this is something you can concentrate on, is what you're grateful for. And his eyes got really big and he was like, oh my God, that's incredible. That's amazing. I think I can do that. I said, great. Start tomorrow.
You know, another way that people can journal too, if they're not comfortable with writing, you know, all of our phones have recorders on them.
Yeah.
Just record into your phone.
I told him that too. I was like, you can use your phone, you can write it down, however you want to do. But when you start in the morning with 3 things you're grateful for and why you're grateful for it, it will change your trajectory of the day. It will change your mindset. It will really make you step back. And I always tell people, zoom out. Don't put all your focus into one little thing. I mean, for God's sake, if we did that right now, people would lose their minds, right? Because you would be like, oh my God, the world's on fire. The world's on fire. Well,
literally.
Yes and no, it is. Yes and no. Are there horrible things happening? Yes. Are there beautiful things happening? Yes. Coexisting right now. And so looking for the things that are positive in your life, that you're grateful for in your life, kind of allows you to zoom out a little bit. And the things that feel like they're out of control and that have a hold on you are lessened a bit, right? So I told him, I said, try it. See if it works. See if it helps. And I'm curious to hear in the future if it made any difference in his life or in his days. And, he's also a parent. And he feels like because he hasn't healed whatever's going on inside of him, he's putting it on his child. And I told him this. I said, the fact that you're recognizing that is huge because that gives you the power to change it. But I'm going to tell you, you have to heal yourself. Don't heal for your child. You heal yourself and your child will heal. Your child will watch. Our kids watch everything we do, right? And so if they see a healed parent, if the language changes around them, they're going to pick up on that and they're going to be fine. They're going to be great. They're going to be loving human beings. And that's all you need. And I thought this man was going to cry in the kitchen, but he gave me a big giant hug And he's like, can I hug you? I said, sure can. And so I gave him a hug. But like, those are the things that come up in my life. It's the universe telling me you are doing what you are supposed to be doing. You are helping people in the way that you need to be helping. Because I get imposter syndrome that creeps in and says, you know, do I have the right to say these things? Am I going to screw somebody up by saying some things that I say, or, you know, whatever? But I have the faith in the work that I've done, and just my knowing when I meet somebody that there's a message that I am supposed to be telling them. It's just a knowing. It's a knowing. It's the universe saying, I'm going to use you as a conduit in this very moment. And so when I saw the look on his face, I knew that what I was saying to him was registering, and it was important. So when I do that, I'm grateful. I'm so, so grateful. So I went to bed last night on top of the world because I got to have that one conversation. And I had spoke to a lot of kids, that I say kids because they're a lot younger than me, but I had lots of different conversations with the kids last night. But that one kid, that one young man I went to bed like, yay.
Businesses that are selling through the roof, like Untuck It, make selling and for shoppers buying simple with Shopify, home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And with Shop Pay, you can boost conversions up to 50%. Businesses that sell more sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout Untuck It uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/podcast free. All lowercase. Go to shopify.com/podcast free to upgrade your selling today.
Because you just made the difference in somebody's life.
Right.
Yay.
And I think, we have these lived experiences that, we've learned from, we're still healing from. And if we can impart that wisdom onto somebody that is going through that or going through something similar, I think it's our duty to mentor down or mentor up.
Absolutely.
Right? Because we don't want anybody to feel as terrified and alone in their own journey as we did in our own.
Exactly.
Or in their journey as we did in our own.
Exactly.
And, the more we talk about it, the better it is for all of us in the world, because, every time we share our stories, we unlock somebody else's prison, because there may be somebody out there that has gone through something similar to what you did. And the lessons and the tips and the tricks that you have imparted, especially on this episode, are groundbreaking. And I'm so appreciative of you and everything that you've poured into this and healed yourself at the same time, right? Because now you're a badass mom, you're a badass author, you're a badass wife, and you're still a badass daughter. No matter what anybody says, they can't take that shit away from you. So, wear it like a fucking badge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I am proud of myself for the first time in my life. And like I said, I never thought I would get to this point, but the universe has a way of showing me that, I am in the right place and I'm doing the right thing. And, I went from being a hairdresser into real estate, into, just trying to grasp what I need to be doing in this life to make a difference. And everything I feel like I've done experience-wise has been a stepping stone to getting me to where I am now, because I've grasped lessons in each career that has gotten me to the place that I am right now. And so I'm grateful for that, for sure. And I am proud of myself. And, it's not ending now. Like, with healing, it continues until you're no longer on this earth.
Right.
So because I wrote a book, because I'm a speaker, because I'm a coach, doesn't mean that I'm done healing from things, right? Or learning lessons in life. I'm not perfect by any means. I make lots of mistakes, but I also am not in the mindset anymore of torturing myself over it and making myself full of shame and guilt and all of that. It's okay. I screwed up and I need to learn from this, right? And take responsibility for it and then move on. And you do have to be a healed person in order to do that. And so on the flip side of that is that I also have compassion for others. And so when I see people behaving badly or, speaking badly, I can see that person as an unhealed person. So my reaction to them is a lot different. It comes from curiosity and compassion because you never know what someone is going through, right? You don't know what their mindset, you don't know how they're feeling, you don't know, what just happened 15 minutes ago that could have destroyed their life, right? And so people react, they're reactionary human beings, right? So you lash out, you say things that are terrible, whatever, but you don't know what other people are going through. And so I think we're having a very big lesson in that right now. Mm-hmm. And, when I say like, it feels like the world's on fire, it does. But, Mr. Rogers was a very intuitive man who understood things on a whole different level about compassion for others. And so when he says, look for the helpers, look for the positive, because we are so chock full of negativity. And you have all of the programming or the trauma. I tell people I'm going to be a very busy girl being a trauma resiliency coach because everything that's happening right now is really pulling things to the surface for people, especially people that are unhealed from trauma. So they're reactionary, they're attacking people, right? And they're doing things out of that pain. And so I continue to zoom out and I continue to really concentrate on what are the positive things, educate myself on what's going on, but not sit in all the turmoil and chaos and all of that and ground myself. Boy, am I walking on grass a lot lately. Feeling the breeze in my face and the sunshine on my face, right? Anything that you can do to do that. But I look for the positive parts of what's going on. And I feel like more people are waking up to understanding that this is not the type of life that they want. This is not the world we want to live in. And so with my work and what I do, I feel like if I can heal people one person at a time, that the world will be a better place because those people won't be reactionary. They will understand where things come from and how they process and deal with things. And maybe I can help people to learn to be more compassionate for other people. And so that's kind of what I feel like my job is by putting my message out. of healing. And right now, healing is imperative. People really need to sit back and look at their lives and figure out, is this what they want to continue with? So
I have some of my fun questions for you.
Sure.
I'd watch out.
No.
They might make you cry.
No, I should preface it. I say fun, but we've had a couple of guests be like, those are not fun. Stop saying that they're fun questions. If you could go back to a younger version of yourself.
Oh, I get this a lot.
You do? Okay, good. And give that younger version advice.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say? And how old are you when you go back?
I always go back to the 17-year-old girl. I remind her that she does have strength inside of her, that she may not feel now and she may not see now, but there is a light in there. And that there are people that are around her that are willing to support her and guide her if she looks for them. And that she's not alone. She's not alone on an island by herself. And that one day she's going to be able to pick herself up off the ground and not have all this pain and anguish and turmoil held over her head any longer.
What would you say is the hardest lesson you've learned in life so far?
Oh my goodness. Where do I start? I think the hardest lesson for me was recent, actually. It was finally understanding that I know who I am as a person and what I deserve as a person, as a child, as a wife, as a mother. My self-worth is finally there, that I was able to walk away from my mother and be at peace about it. That was the hardest lesson, I think, for myself, is finding that self-worth.
Thank you.
I love that. All right. So are you ready for my questions?
Give it to me.
If your anxiety had a theme song, what is it and why?
Oh my God. My anxiety, I think it would be the end of the world as we know it.
Perfect, actually.
Actually,
that's the first song that popped into my head, man.
I could hear
I'm telling you.
I can feel that song. Oh my God, I can feel
little
it.
REM for you.
Man, you're aging me. I remember that. Damn.
But I mean, that's the song that popped up into my head. You asked.
I like that. So, I have another question for you. What is your favorite word?
Oh my gosh. My favorite word is light.
I like that. And what's your least favorite word?
Victimhood.
Nice. Nice. All right, my friend. How can our listeners find out more about you?
Well, I can tell them the name of my book first. So the name of my book is The Other Side of the Gun, My Journey from Trauma to Resiliency. It is on Amazon, currently paperback form. It is on Kindle as well. And coming soon, because I just got out of a studio, is the audiobook.
Love
that was
audio.
A whole different journey. And then I do have a website. It's susansnowspeaks.com. It's kind of a one-stop shop. It talks about my speaking. It talks about my coaching, and it also talks about my book. So I'm on all the socials, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. So I'm on all of that. I've also got a YouTube under Susan Snow Speaks as well. And yeah, so if I always tell people this, I do a 40-minute free discovery call with anyone who wants to kind of see if we're a good fit, if there is a way that I can help them in any kind of way, or maybe you have questions about where to start with your journey, and you're just afraid, you've got some fear around it. You can go into my website and send me an email, and I'm happy to, answer questions or talk to anyone who needs a listening ear.
I love this. Thank you for this beautiful conversation.
Thank you for having me. I appreciated it.
Hi, all. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. I'm G-Rex.
And I'm Dirty Skittles.
Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review this podcast. We'd love to listen to your feedback.
We can't do this without you guys.
It's okay to be not okay. Just make sure you're talking to someone.